be hunted down and defeated.
The attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed. But I assure you, my resolve has never been stronger. In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
We will defend these police officers.
Listen to police officers' commands, listen to what we tell you, and just stop. The nation needs to realize that when we tell you to do something, do it. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, then the courts will figure it out.
We don't get to take the law, we enforce it. But at the end of the day, each and every member should go home safe. Sometimes the use of force is necessary. You need to comply with the police officer the way the system was meant to be. Comply with the orders of police officers. Resisting arrest is a real and dangerous crime.
Nonpartisan Liberty for All. I'm your host, Dave Bourne, and it is November 24th, 2015, and I'm coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you for tuning in. We are on weeknights, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, and you can listen on Spreaker.com and NonPartisanLibertyForall.com. We promote the ideas of true freedom and liberty, meaning being able to do whatever you want as long as you respect the freedom of others and don't directly interfere with their freedom, as well as exposing government for what it is, a mafia based on extortion that rules without consent by threat of force and violence. A couple things that I wanted to mention before we even get into anything. Of course, today's topic, if you listen to the beginning, whether you read the event or not, you could tell that was a clip. Well, maybe you've never seen it. So that was a clip from Star Wars, and what clip that was when the Empire or the Emperor announced that he had to take over everything because the Jedi are evil or traitors or whatever, and they attacked him. And now for everyone's security, all of the war, well, I guess in their case, because it was planets as opposed to one world, one planet, so that he has to take over the whole universe to keep everybody safe. Because I think the way they had it set up was they had representatives from each planet. So I guess what they'd say back in Star Wars is that he had to take over the galaxy. So we'll get to that. There's a few other things that I want to talk about as well, mostly that relate to this whole thing. There's still a lot of things going on related to the Middle East, of course, and what it is going on there, as well as the refugees that are coming into the United States and other countries. I swear, the fucking conservative channels, like I said, going to and from work sometimes, I'll just put those on, especially now that I don't have Sirius on my phone. So I'll just put. I think there's only one real channel that I find. I don't know if anybody else knows any other talk radio that's not sports. I know the sports channel, but the only one I know now is 790. There was another one, and I don't know if that exists anymore. It was on FM, but in the morning they have Glenn Beck on, and in the afternoon, mid-evening, they have Mark Levin, who I mention all the time, who is just an angry fuck who's always yelling. And that's one of the main things that he talks about. At least, I can say that Glenn Beck comes off as a nice guy. I don't know that he is, and I don't agree with a lot of his opinions, of course. I mean, he calls himself a libertarian. I'm like, okay, I don't know about all that now. And that's why I don't like definitions. I just describe what I believe in. But he seems like a nice guy. And he also seems like, I don't know about before, so I'm not going to speak to that. But he seems like he truly does care about what happens. And I believe he raised money now only to bring Christians over. But this was his rationale. So he raised money. And, of course, him raising that money, he can do whatever he wants with it, as long as, he raises it for what he says he's going to do with it. But, I mean, if he says, I'm going to raise money to bring Catholic families over and only Catholic families, of course, if he did something else with it, like put it in his bank account and took the money, then that's fraud. But I mean, assuming that he uses it for that and any administrative expenses that relate to that, that's fine. So his rationale was, look, we know that the Christians aren't terrorists. And none of this is my opinion or anything. This is just what he was saying. But that we know the Christians are not Muslim terrorists, obviously, because they're Christians. So I guess they could be Christian terrorists, I guess. But he does have a point. I mean, if they're Christians, they're obviously not Muslim terrorists. So he can kind of prove, for the most part, that they're not terrorists, because this is based on, the percentage of actual terrorists, never mind just Muslim terrorists, the percentage of actual terrorists as a whole is so small. It's, I would say at least in this country, I can't really speak to what's the percentage in the world, but I mean, there's like billions of Muslims. So based on that, it's still a small percentage, even where, they talk about where the majority of terrorism happens, and it happens in the Middle East. So it's really Muslims killing Muslims. I know they're also killing some Christians. At least that's what the conservatives say. But either way, they're killing a lot of Muslims. And nobody can deny that the Muslims are killing each other because of some stupid fucking thing from, I don't remember how long ago, but I read about why. It was some dispute in the religion, and this is Jesus, I don't know how many years ago, thousands of years ago, let's just say, because I know it was at least thousands of years ago. I don't remember the exact date, but at least 1,000. I don't know a lot about the history of Islam, but I do know this, that it was something to do with the one sect didn't believe that Muhammad did one thing and the other one did. And this is how fucked up religion is. And of course, people say, well, that's just the Muslims. And that's not true. Other religions are all fucked up too. I think that I believe that Islam is newer than, I know it's newer than Judaism because that's been around forever, but I believe it's newer than Christianity. So it may be that one of the points, because if you go back and look at, you know, Christian history, it's not all that good neither. And the same, you could look at times where, well, the Jews were abused a lot throughout history, but I'm sure they did their fair share of bad things as well. I guess medieval times or not medieval times, because this is way before that. Ancient history is not one of my strong suits. I remember in high school they had, this was his 9th grade or 10th grade. I know ancient civilization was one of the classes or something else. And I know in 9th grade I took government. And, you know, you get the bullshit explanation of government. And 10th grade, it might have been 10th grade, because 10th grade I don't think you had anything. I took law. I remember I took a law class. But so anyway, it goes back to some stupid argument over something from what I recall, because I remember just reading about this, because I'm like, well, what is the reason that these two sects of sex, meaning SECTS, no X in there, are, I mean, they're killing each other. I mean, it's insane, the Shiite and the Sunni Muslims. I mean, and that's why I always say, like, you know, people are worried about, I mean, there's other reasons as well, but people are worried about, oh, they're going to come over here and do all this stuff and they're going to go whatever. They have enough to worry about among themselves. You know, it would be, I mean, if they all united and all of these terrorist organizations united together, then there may be more to worry about. My point being is most of them are run by, not all of them, but in the case of ISIS, is run by the CIA and the U.S. government, and we'll get to that. But they're spending enough time killing each other over something stupid, and it's just, that's why religion, and like I said, it's not just Islam. I wouldn't say I'm against religions, because if you, and my father was Jewish and my mother is Catholic, and I grew up not practicing any type of religion, I never believed in organized religion for the same reason. I don't believe in government, or I don't believe in a lot of organizations, because I'm just too independent of a person and think too independently to be part of some organization like that tells you how you should think and how you should live your life. If it's a bowling league or something, you know, I was going to join a bowling league once, and that's fine. But when you're talking about anything that relates to how you should live your life, that's a lot different. And you know, from when I was a little kid, I remember the religion thing. I was just like, and I don't know if that's because on my father's side of the family, my grandmother tried to, like, you know, push it down everybody's throat, meaning